Tradition number 5. Through successive chain of narrators, Sheikh Abul Qasim Ja'far ibn Qawlawayh al-Qummi, through his chain of authorities, relates from Abdullah ibn Bakr, who narrates in the contents of a lengthy tradition that I performed the Hajj pilgrimage along with Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq alayhi salam, and then said, O son of the Prophet of Allah, if the grave of Imam Hussein ibn Ali is exhumed, what will be found therein? Imam alayhi salam replied, O son of Bakr, what a great question you have asked. Verily, Imam Hussein ibn Ali, together with his father, mother, and brother, is in the presence of the Prophet of Allah, and he eats of the bounties with all of them, and is on the right side of the empyrean Arsh, and is bonded with them, and says, O Allah, fulfill what you have promised me. Then he looks at the pilgrims who have come to his grave with their names and the names of their fathers, and he knows what they have brought in their luggage more better than they know their sons. And he looks at those who weeps over his afflictions and prays to Allah for their contentment and self-sufficiency. Then he says, O one who weeps over me, if you are informed about the rewards and bounties which Allah has reserved for you because of your mourning, then you would be more delighted than the grief. Then he seeks pardon for all their sins and faults. Tradition number 6. Through successive chain of authorities, the noble Sheikh and the chief of traditionists, Muhammad ibn Ali ibn Babawayh al-Qummi, through his authorities, quotes Imam Ali al-Rida alayhi salam, saying that whoever remembers our sorrows and weeps over the oppressions which have been inflicted upon us, then on the day of Qiyamah he shall be on our status along with us. And the one who remembers our sorrows and thereby weeps and makes others weep, then his eyes shall not weep on the day when all eyes will be weeping. And the one who sits in such a gathering wherein our matters are discussed, his heart will not die on the day when all hearts shall perish. Tradition number 7. Through my chain of transmitters, reaching Shaykh al-Ta'ifa Abu Ja'far al-Tusi, who relates from Shaykh al-Mufid, who relates from Ibn Qawlawayh, from his father, from Sa'd, from Barqi, from Sulaiman ibn Muslim al-Kindi, from Ibn Ghazawan, from Isa ibn Abi Mansur, from Abban ibn Taghlib, who relates from Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq alayhi salam, that he said, the sorrowful sigh over the oppression which have been inflicted upon us is glorification, and grief upon us is worship. And guarding our secrets carries the reward of struggle in the path of Allah. Then he retorted, verily, it is necessary that this tradition be written in gold. Tradition number 8. Through his chain of transmitters, the jurist Sheikh Abul Qasim Ja'far ibn Qawlawayh relates from Ibn Kharijah that Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq alayhi salam said, that Imam Hussein alayhi salam says, I am the martyr of grief and was martyred in captivity. And it is incumbent upon Allah to send the one who comes to visit my grave in sorrow to reach contented back to his family. Tradition number 9. It has been related by Sheikh al-Ta'if al-Tusi through successive chain of narrators from Abu Amr, Usman Daqqaq, from Ja'far ibn Muhammad ibn Malik, from Ahmad ibn Yahya al-Azdi, from Makhul ibn Ibrahim, from Rabi' ibn Mundhir, from his father who quotes Imam Hussein ibn Ali alayhi salam as saying that there is no slave of Allah who sheds tears and his eyes become wet, except that Allah will put him in paradise for a lengthy period. Ahmad ibn Yahya Azadi says that one day I saw Imam Hussein in a dream and inquired from him regarding the validity of the tradition, and the Imam replied that it was true. Tradition number 10. Through chain of transmitters, Sheikh Abul Qasim Ja'far ibn Qawlawayh relates through his chain of transmitters from Abu Amara that one day the name of Imam Hussein alayhi salam was taken in the presence of Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq, and he did not even smile till the night, and he would say, Hussein is the means of weeping for all believers. Tradition number 11. Through my chain of transmitters connected to the Honorable Sheikh Ali ibn Ibrahim al-Qummi, who relates from his father, from Ibn Mahbub, from Ala, from Muhammad, from Imam Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salam, who said that Imam Ali ibn al-Hussein, Zainul Abidin alayhi salam, said, if a believer weeps over the martyrdom of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and tears flow from his eyes and fall on his cheeks, then Allah will make him reside in the palaces of paradise, where he shall abide for a lengthy period of time. And if tears flow from a believer's eyes in sorrow and falls upon his cheeks for the oppression and tyranny which has been inflicted upon us by our enemies, then Allah will present him a seat in paradise. And the believer who undergoes sufferings on our behalf and tears flow on his cheeks, then Allah will remove sorrow from his face, and on the day of Qiyamah will keep him away from his wrath and safeguard him against the fire of hell. Tradition number 12. Through chain of transmitters, Sheikh Saduq Muhammad ibn Ali ibn Babawayh al-Qummi relates from his father, Ibn Babawayh Awwal, from the master of Qummis, Abdullah ibn Ja'far, from Ahmad ibn Ishaq ibn Sa'ad, from Bakr ibn Muhammad al-Azadi, that Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq alayhi salam once told Fudail that, do you discuss our traditions when you sit in each other's company? Fudail replied, yes, we certainly do so. May I be your ransom? Imam said, whoever remembers our traditions, or in whose presence we are discussed, and tear equal to the size of a wing of a fly flow from his eyes, Allah will forgive all his sins, although they be equal in number to the foam of the water of the river. Tradition number 13. Through my chain of transmitters, I relate from the noble Sheikh, the master of traditionists, Muhammad ibn Ali ibn Babawayh al-Qummi, known as Sheikh al-Saduq, who relates from Abi Amara that he says that Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam told me, recite some couplets in praise of Imam Hussein. I recited the couplets and Imam started weeping. Again, I recited some more and he wept. I continued my recital and Imam wept each time until his entire household started lamenting. Then Imam said, O Abu Amara, a person who recites couplets for Imam Hussein and makes 50 people weep, his reward is paradise. And the person who recites couplets for Imam Hussein and makes 30 people weep, his reward is paradise. And the person who recites couplets and makes 20 people weep, his reward is paradise. And the person who recites couplets for Imam Hussein and makes 10 people weep, his reward is paradise. While a person who recites couplets for Imam Hussein and makes one person weep, his reward is paradise. While a person who recites couplets for Imam Hussein and himself weeps, his reward is paradise. And whoever recites a couplet for the Imam and himself is aggrieved, his reward is paradise.